And the message coming out from the U.S. side is that it's not compatible with the NATO system. But Turkey and the United States have been NATO allies since 1952. And during the Cold War, they were on the same side against the former USSR. Their forces fought together in Korea, collaborated in the Balkans during the 1990s, and then, of course, later on in Afghanistan. But the ensuing policies during the civil war in Syria saw a major split with these long-standing allies, mainly with the U.S. choosing the YPG as their ally on the ground to fight Daesh. Turkey says the YPG is the Syrian offshoot of the PKK, a group which is also recognized as a terror entity by the United States. Our Obeida Hito has more from the Turkish-Syrian border.
Despite years of criticism from Turkey about what it says is a failed anti-terror policy, the YPG terror group remains America's main ally in the fight against Daesh in eastern Syria. The YPG is the Syrian military wing of the PKK terror group. And it's no secret U.S. Syria experts have been aware of their relationship between their Syrian partners and the PKK.
We ended up choosing the sworn enemy of the Turks, and the PKK is a designated terrorist organization, designated by the State Department, by the United States. We played this terminological game and said, no, it's the YPG, it's the PYD, right. It's the SDF, it's the PKK.
Yeah. U.S. President Donald Trump also says the PKK is as bad as any other terror group.
Now, the PKK, which is a part of the Kurds, as you know, is probably worse at terror and more of a terrorist threat in many ways than ISIS.
Despite operating under an umbrella group known as the SDF, Turkey says their leader, Ferhat Abdishahin, is a wanted PKK terrorist nicknamed the Son of Öcalan. Ankara says Shahin is responsible for carrying out 8 terror attacks in Turkey since 1996, which killed over 100 people, including at least 20 children. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan recently asked the U.S. to turn him over following reports the wanted terrorist was invited to visit the White House.
The person with the codename Mazlum is a terrorist who is wanted with an Interpol red notice. There is an agreement between us and the U.S. regarding the repatriation of the criminals. So the U.S. is supposed to hand this man over to us.
Turkey has also asked the U.S. to stop providing support to the YPG and to fulfill their promise agreed to during Vice President Pence's visit to Turkey of removing them from the border areas. But according to President Erdogan, that hasn't happened yet.
Neither Russia nor the U.S. has managed to clear those areas from the terrorists on the deadline that they promised. We will be discussing all of this with Trump.
The U.S. president initially said U.S. troops would be leaving the area, but instead repositioned them near oil wells in northeast Syria. According to U.S. officials, that oil is being given to the YPG, something Turkey's Foreign Minister Çavuşoğlu has criticized.
We're following US statements closely, and they say openly they're there for the oil resources. We're talking about a country that's not hiding from that fact. Moreover, with the revenues they make from that oil, we see that they support terror groups like the YPG and the PKK.
Now Turkey is working with Russia to secure the border areas according to an agreement made in Sochi last month. As Turkey's president made clear, the U.S. did not fulfill its promises, and the YPG have not completely exited the areas agreed upon. That's why Ankara says Operation Peace Spring will continue, and Turkey will do whatever is necessary to secure its border. A message that is likely to top the agenda at the meetings between the two leaders in Washington, D.C. Obeida Hito, TRT World, on the Turkey-Syria border.